Empire Metals has appointed a marketing manager to support the rapid advancement of the Pitfield Titanium Project in Australia. To talk about the appointment and the project, I'm delighted to be joined by Managing Director Shaun Bunn. So, Shaun, this appointment of Michael Tamlin, what is it about this hire that deserves a stock exchange release, and how can his appointment assist the company's progress at Pitfield?
Yes, Sarah. Look, it's a really important step, I think, in the overall development of our project fundamentally. But building a strong team has been foremost at my in my mind over the period that we've been building up this project. So Michael's appointment is really much focused now on how we can advance further product development. So a real important part of our business is to understand, obviously. We're making this high purity titanium product, but we need obviously to start looking at, okay, well, what do the customers want? Do they want variations around these sorts of product themes? Are we going to go and look at making metal at some point? So understanding all of that requires a lot of research and a lot of intensive activity. So Michael's appointment. And I might just add quickly, Mike comes from an incredibly experienced background in marketing, commodities through the mining industry. He's going to have a huge contact list, the traders, the Mitsuis of the world, Traxxas, Wogans, and not only that, the big chemical companies he's been involved with, like BASF in Europe, and some of the big multinationals that are going to be interested in us in the US. So I really want to just put that out there at the moment that this is the right time for a marketing manager to come on board. But don't forget, really, this is another step on building what is essentially a excellent, experienced, let's say, world-class team here in Perth in the project itself. We took on Alan Rubio, engineering study manager. We've taken on Pacello Aviso, hydrometallurgist. We had, previously excellent hires in the environmental and geology and processing. So, we really have focused on positioning ourselves as having, one of the greatest, one of the best teams available.
How long did it take you to get Michael onto the team?
Oh, look, I knew Michael from other projects. I knew of Michael. He was working, full-time extensively for the group Neo Metals at that time, developing, new technology in the lithium battery space. So I approached Michael probably well over 12 months ago to see where he stood and what sort of availability he might have in the future. And it's only probably the last few weeks that I sat down with him again and we nutted out that this is the right time. He's the right guy, right time, perfect opportunity for us to bring such an experienced guy into the team.
You're also continuing the relationship with TIPMC Consulting. What value do they bring to the business?
Well, look, these guys set up in their home base, Nashville, in the US. Look, these guys have been in the titanium industry and operating in the down the end stream users. They understand a lot of the detail and the complexity about the titanium market and the various products and commodities that are traded. So they provide very they're the surgical knife, if you like, that we need to go right in and get into the detail. But, you can get lost in there. So Michael's role is a much broader role, and he encompasses a much bigger strategy for us. And it doesn't have to be just products that he can look at. He can look at how we source key reagents. He can look at the relationships we have to build. TIPMC are going to be sitting there providing us the cutting edge of the, the market insights.
Okay, so remind investors, new investors, what they are marketing in terms of the Pitfield project and how soon before the company releases its maiden mineral resource estimate.
Yeah, look, we've flagged, we've positioned ourselves over the last, 12, 18 months by doing all the research, doing all the hard work, doing all the test work. So our metallurgical development projects, which we've been constantly updating the market on, we came back only a few weeks ago to highlight, excellent recoveries all the way through to a 99% plus titanium pigment type product. So purity is achieved in the product because of purity from the ore body. That's an advantage that none of our competitors will have. So if you think about positioning, we're the world's largest titanium discovery. We're in a tier 1 location. We've got almost no contaminants within the ore body. We make a pure product. And now what we're saying is we're accelerating at a rate that I've had to take further actions to bring the team, beef up the team. So marketing is the logical next step in the process of getting this project towards feasibility study. The other key step is the mineral resource estimate. The de-risking of the geology by putting out an MRE is really critical milestone, and we are on track to have something out in October.
At this stage, Shaun, with the data that you have, is Pitfield commercial?
Everything that we can point to, every step we've taken along this route has basically shown that I certainly think, and I think many people now reviewing the project feel that this is the better alternative. You've got a disrupted market. The titanium market is in disarray. The Chinese production has come in. It's certainly affected many of the Western producers' profitability. People are blaming market price, but it's nothing to do with that. It's their own inefficiencies. The ilmenite process is costly. It generates a lot of waste. It consumes a lot of energy. It is 95% of the supply chain. So the market is a dinosaur. And we've got to come back and look at Pitfield and say, how does this, what is the opportunity here? A better process, less polluting, lower cost, lower energy consuming processes that, that we can come into this disrupted market. So the timing could not be, in my mind, better. And we are demonstrating, I think, each step of the way that this is going to be the better alternative.
Now, when you told me years ago that the deposit found at Pitfield was the biggest thing on the planet and we had to imagine it an inverted Everest, it's kind of reflective of how the share price looks at the moment, Shaun. So how can the decline be arrested?
Look, nothing's fundamentally changed. So everything about this project that we've said over many, many, many months now, giving confidence, I think, to the investors that, firstly, we understood the geology, we understood the mineralogy, we understood the metallurgy. We're now moving towards understanding the marketing. So all of those sort of factors are still robust. We're still developing, yes, the project. There is still risk and uncertainties because, this is still very early in development phase. But nothing fundamentally in the company or in the project sense has changed in the last week. Everything is on track. We're focused on getting this MRE out as we promised, and we are rapidly moving into continuous piloting now and product generation. And hence I need somebody out there on a plane taking the product out to the market. So it all, to be honest, makes, we're going tremendously well.
So I'll try not to over-catastrophize this, but over the past 2 years, we've seen the share price go from 4p to highs of just over 70p. The stock is circa 33p at the moment. Is it a case, perhaps, that fortunes have been made over the past 24 months and people are taking profits, or are they running for the hills?
Oh, I can't, to be honest, I don't really understand why people are selling at this point. I think there is enormous upside, given the, what we said earlier about the scale, the grade continuity, the position that we are located in. We are setting Pitfield up to be, the meteor, if you like, that's coming to wipe out the dinosaurs. We are going to arrive with a project that's going to have generational life, a low environmental footprint, and security of supply to a Western world. Now, titanium is a critical metal. It's high value, premium grade products are in scarce supply. So why wouldn't something like Pitfield, who can occupy that space and be there working with some of the major Western consumers, be the perfect choice, the preferred choice?
Okay, understood, Shaun, but you obviously have access to the share register. Are you seeing sells from anybody or any organisation that is giving you cause for alarm?
No, we not that I've noticed anything in the last few months. I look at the longer term. I tend to look at things on a much longer term macro view. These short term, day to day variations can be misleading. I know for a fact that some of our some of the shareholders have been with us now for several years. Some of our biggest shareholders are still there. They're holding. I know that because they tell me, and we can see them on the register. We know that we've got a really strong cornerstone investment base. But if you think about a sort of broader view on this, over the last month, over the last 30 days, our share price is still up 18%. And I defy people out there who are sort of damning us and saying catastrophe and this is a disaster. I defy them to go out and find too many more companies on the market that are reporting 18% growth over that sort of period. And if you look back further over 6 months, it's even higher, obviously. So we have delivered returns on investors. If they're taking short-term profits at the expense of the share price, I'm sorry to those who have stuck, who've stuck loyal and followed us. I'm hoping that that'll wash out and we'll start to see a strong rebound.
Of course, the company isn't just Pitfield. I'm going to end on this one. Empire also has the Eclipse project and Walton, in addition to 3 precious metals projects located in a high-grade gold-producing region of Australia. So what's happening there?
Look, we see those projects as, they're not core. And I think multiple times we've had discussions and made it pretty clear that a lot of those projects, are available if we have a sale opportunity. I think getting rid of non-core projects, particularly with the high gold price, we should be able to attract a premium. So it's a good time for us to think about that. But having said that, if another great project comes across our desk that's sensible, we'll have a look at it. We're not Pitfield is an amazing project, and we're not going to lose sight of that. We're not going to change focus. But we're a mining exploration group as well, and we've got a great team. And we're always on the lookout for adding value to the shareholders.
Many thanks, Shaun Bunn, Managing Director of Empire Metals. Thank you for your time.
Well, you're welcome.